the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing today, guys? Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Don't forget to smash the like button on your way in. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Happy Monday. Bitcoin currently trading at $70,440.06. Let's do a quick check. Gold down 0.58% on the day, currently trading at $5,029.11. Back above 5K. Big deal here. Getting back above 5K. Let's see if it continues to follow our hand-drawn fractal, or at least some semblance of the original fractal that we put on here. Basically, just previous price action estimate, what we think is going to potentially play out this time around. Keep an eye on that RSI and see if we bounce off of that moving average, or if we go below it again like we did here. We broke above it, below, above, below. Is it going to continue to act as some catalyst of consolidation here? Silver down 2.09% on the day, currently trading at 81.60, back above 80. Big deal over here as well. Kind of been sideways since it got above 80, which is exciting that it's even above 80 to begin with. We'll see if this continues the upside as well. Similar story with the RSI compared to gold. We'll see when this comes down if it bounces off that moving average or goes below it briefly. Back to the golden child of the evening. Bitcoin up 0.41% on the day, trading at $70,422.94. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. Not a whole lot going on today. Oops. Let me go log into this, I suppose. I thought I did this already. Yeah, there we go. Why am I struggling here? I'm trying to get the right thing up. There we go. Got it. Okay. All right. I guess I gotta start to remember that from this point forward. All right. We've got on the 12-hour Bitcoin liquidation heat map 70,690 up above. And then the second chunk up there, let's go. There's not that much above us. 72,826. And then down below, 69,708. And the bottom of that chunk, I'll go right here, I guess, for this one. 67,168. Okay, So those are our two ranges at the moment. We are heading to the upside, which is good. Consolidating right around 50 on the RSI. We'll see if that turns into anything positive. It's hard to tell right now. It doesn't seem like we've got any kind of overhead resistance. Obviously, we're kind of wrestling around 70K, but there's nothing inherently bearish about this, in my opinion. I guess the only thing, if I was a bear trying to convince you to be a bear, I would tell you that Bitcoin came down really, really hard, and this is all the recovery that it has. You know what I mean? But if I was a bull, I would tell you usually a dead cat bounce is a lot more significant to trap the bulls. So it's kind of a stalemate right now, it seems. Dominance 59.22, rejected 59.5 for the second time in a row. We'll see if that continues down, and if it breaks below 59 again, we might be in play for some further like sustained downside on dominance, which would be pretty decent for altcoins. Could be pretty decent for altcoins. ETH is up 0.78 since the daily close, currently trading at $2,121.94. $2,120.94. We're playing around with 2113, which is a point of confluence based on previous price action. Goes way back. Nice wick right there, actually. Very nice. That little pullback before further upside. Interesting. Alright, so it's nice to see us recover and get back above that level. Volume looks really good on that move as well. Can we continue and potentially get above 25 next would be ideal. Obviously 22.50, one step at a time. RSI right above 50. We did a little fake out below the moving average on the RSI. And now it looks like we're getting a bounce off of 50 and continuing to the upside. See if that continues to push. Green dot on the momentum wave, point to the upside as well. I like that we bounced off of 18, got above 19, or I guess got above 2K really, bounced off of that twice, and are making our second attempt to break above 21.13, point of confluence. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this, see if we get up to 22.50 next. Sol is up 0.6% on the day, currently trading at 87.29. Let's see, choppy sideways kind of situation here. This is our first real retest of 82.47 support potential. We like the wick. We've talked about the wick. Volume could be a little bit better here. RSI struggling to get above 50. I suppose that's our next resistance. Getting above 50 and then continuing to trade to the upside. I would really like to get back above this lower trend line. We've talked about this a bunch in the past. This lower trend line goes back quite a ways, all the way to technically March 2024. So we want to get back above that and start to trade in that range again. That would be ideal. If we do continue to the downside, then we're looking at 50. If we break below 75, then we'll look at 50. And again, it's all psychological from this point forward, depending on the chart. Total 3 is up 0.34% on the day, currently trading at 712.57 billion. My bearish guess was actually 711 for our touch, and we're right there. Obviously, we went way lower than that, 640. We got a wick off of that and kind of use, looks like 669 as our candle body close support, which is nice. And right now we're kind of just playing around with this 700 billion level. We got a nice support bounce off 700. And we're trying to get above 720 next. 725 even, let's call it. RSI struggling to get above 50. Staying above that moving average though. Green dot of the momentum wave point to the upside. Looks very similar to Solana. Very similar to Solana. So these are going to move in tandem, I'm assuming. What's going on, Ahead? Happy Monday, my friend. SNEC is up 7.94% on the day. We got a little retracement here. This thing had a 50% move the other day, so it's to be expected. Can it continue to the upside, or is this all just one big bull trap? Kind of got a theme here going on. We got big fat red, beautiful recovery, red, recovery, red. The trajectory is obviously changing over time. Is that going to continue? I don't know. Is this eventually going to look like this? I have no clue. Obviously, I'm incredibly biased, but I like me a good 8.46% candle to the upside. You know, who doesn't? Let's see if we can get above. Well, let's see if we can get above and stay above 6. Right now, we are above 6 right now. But we were playing around with 55. Midnight down 0.02% on the day. This thing's lingering in between 46 and 54. Is it going to continue to the upside, or do we get support, resistance? Are we going to break and continue to the downside? I have no idea. RSI got a bearish cross over the moving average, pointed to the downside. Red dot of the momentum wave also pointed to the downside. The indicators are leaning towards bearish, but it is pretty sold off. Yeah, I mean, it's new coin, so to be expected, some retracement. I'm 50-50 on whether or not I care for this project at all, to be completely honest. I do hold some on principle, but I'm not like a diehard Knight maxi quite yet. I'm waiting for it to convince me. So far, it's about as appealing as its name, because I don't think that there's anything really else to it, to be completely honest. Fahid said, any possibility that we see a 77% crash for Bitcoin from all-time high, like last cycle? That would be like 28K. I would never rule it out, honestly, especially at this point. I think it'd be silly for somebody to say, I think that's impossible, because of what we've seen so far. Now, having said that, 77% does seem crazy just because of the amount of money that's in play now, and with the adoption that we've seemingly received as well. Let's do our pullbacks. Just the two most recent. This guy came back from candle body to candle body. I'm going to go right here. That guy went 82, 83. And then this one, Fahid, you said 77. I'm going candle body. Let's see if that's a difference. 75. So 83 to 75, we'll call that's 8. So if we go 8 less than 75, we'll call it 69. Let's go 69. Whoops. What does 69% pullback look like? From candle body, right there. Yeah, candle body, 69%. Puts us at 69 right there. 38,175. So let's try that out for size. 38,175. 38,175. And then I'm going to put approximately 69% pullback from all-time high candle body close on weekly. So let's see if maybe 38, 40K. Mr. Non-Alien said still going down. Oh, goodness, excuse me. Depends on what time frame you look at. Tom Selleck Scout said, it's garbage. All projects are garbage other than Bitcoin and ETH. They all do nothing that makes anyone buy the coin. That Pulse Player said, oh, Ray up another 60% today. No big deal. Might want to have a look, JJ. If you know, you know. I will look at that momentarily. We did look at that yesterday. Let's go take a look at it right now. Why the hell not? So we did look at this yesterday, and beautifully bounced off of our trend line that we pointed out not too long ago. Ooh, look at that. So clear trend line here. You got, let's see, establishment, support bounce 1, support bounce 2, support bounce 3. So obviously you probably would have been pretty pissed off if you would have longed right here and pulled back. That's a little double bottom right there. But that's why you got to be strategic with it. As of right now, if you would have bought just the support touch, if you would have bought every support touch, you would be up tremendously. But just this most recent one, you would be up 200%. Very, very nice. Very nice. Let's see if this thing continues. Obviously, it can't sustain this over a longer period of time, but short term, we do like to trade volatility. I would not touch this now that it's incredibly overbought, but that's just me. Maybe wait for a pullback, see if that RSI resets a little bit. Obviously, exercise caution. It's a low cap, you know, meme coin. I guess it's not a meme coin. It's just a low cap coin. But we're going to see if this thing can pull all the way up to 0.25 on the chart. Just this broadening scenario See what plays out. That'd be pretty sick. That would be pretty crazy. All right, Bitcoin, 70,390. We talked about the possibility of Fahid's 77% pullback. I wanted to be a little more modest because in the past we saw 83 and then 75 candle body to candle body. And this one, assuming more money, more adoption, whatever you want to try to cope, assuming that's the case and the pullback is going to be slightly less, we went with 69%. Otherwise, 28K, 38K, what is that, a 33% difference at that point? At that point, that's not even that much. All right, XRP. Currently trading at 144.76, up 0.74% on the day. Currently trading above 140, below 150. It's kind of in the midpoint, I suppose. Not really too crazy. 145, I guess, is the resistance. That's a weird number. Our RSI is having trouble getting above that 50 level, which is pretty much what everything else is doing as well. We are holding above that moving average, though, which is ideal. Are we going to see a move up or the more popular, ever extravagant BART pattern play out? Time will tell. It would be very much like the powers that be, the market maker, if they are real, to pull back basically to our local bottom. JShare 2.0 sets up, family. What's going on? JShare 2.0. Happy Monday, my friend. Cheers. I'm going to take that opportunity to consume some caffeine. Delicious. I made so much progress at work today. I think the rest of my work week is going to be really, really chill. I should not have said that. I'm going to knock on some wood. Hopefully I don't regret that later. Okay, let's continue. XRP, dancing in between 134 and 157. Can we get above 150 is the question. Clearly 145 is the struggle. Let's keep an eye on that RSI. Green dot of the momentum waypoint to the upside. It's a mixed bag right now. H-bar. A lot of H-bar news recently. And I'm kind of liking this weird setup. It's like an upside down middle finger. You got finger, finger, middle finger, finger, finger. Are you going to get a thumb in here maybe? I don't know how you would make the thumb. You'd make the thumb somehow. Or is that the thumb? That would be the thumb. I'm sorry. Finger, finger, middle finger, finger, thumb. Aha! Because you'd have to go like this. But it's possible. It's entirely possible. RSI is above 50, which is awesome. Or more than what the other alts can say. You got kind of an inverse head and shoulder here too. It's on a micro time frame, but it is there. Getting your support bounces off that moving average. See what can happen with that bad boy. Can we get above 10 cents again? Is the ultimate question for H-bar. A lot of news floating around about H-bar, their partnerships and their node operators and all that stuff. I don't know if it's newsworthy or not. It might just be my echo chamber on X feeding me whatever kind of BS. I used to be a huge H-bar guy. Now, I'm kind of non-biased at this point about it. But I do like it. Kevin O'Leary used to be a huge H-bar guy. I guess that's the part that really kind of tickles me the most. Kevin O'Leary used to be the H-bar guy. I don't know if they paid him or something, but he was like Hedera. He was the Hedera guy. And now suddenly he's like, I sold all my altcoins. I'm only buying Ethereum and Bitcoin. So, I don't know. It's just kind of funny to see. But maybe that's the right move, man. Maybe that is the right move. We will find out, obviously. Sweet. Up 0.95%. Sweet's struggling to get above $1. That's a big psychological level, so I'm not surprised here. Can we see some semblance of strength here? Our volume looks really, really bad. That volume looks horrible. So I would like to see some strength, some volatility, return, some momentum, some upwards momentum return with a little bit of conviction thrown in there. Volume, I guess right here looks a little bit better, but man, that weekend volume really kills the vibe, doesn't it? So let's see if our RSI is going to be doing anything exciting here. It looks like it's sitting right at 45. Nothing really compelling on the RSI. I could make the argument for that inverse head and shoulder, but it's kind of sloppy. We got a green dot on the momentum wave point to the upside as well. Tom Sellerscout said Kevin O'Leary is a tool. I thoroughly enjoy the fact that Mark Cuban is he's filthy rich. and all the other people on Shark Tank, they're like, we have like a couple $100 million. And Mark Cuban is like, I'm a fucking billionaire, bro. Get on my level. And he's just like super chill about it. Like he could probably support every single company that comes on Shark Tank indefinitely and not give any competition to anybody else. And he would still have billions of dollars. That has always thoroughly tickled me. Okay, Avalanche up 0.33% on the day, still well below $10. We're at $9.09. Can we stay above 9? Nice psychological level. RSI trying to get back above 50. Just hold above that moving average, which is good. Green dot of the momentum wave point to the upside. Very quiet over here as well. Similar to everything else we've looked at today. Chainlink, same thing. Only it's below $9. And RSI doing the same thing, kind of getting pinched in between that moving average and 50. See if it can break up. Green dot of the momentum wave. It's weird seeing the momentum wave this flat. It's very strange. Gold we talked about briefly. Talk about it a little bit more. I'm liking the fractal right now, especially the hand drawn. We have the original hand drawn. This is the original fractal. The original hand drawn is my my rebalancing, considering the fact that there's more money, so it's maybe gonna not move as extravagantly as it did previously. We're kind of at the in-between point now, so I redrew a second time to kind of follow along still, just to see if the idea is still there. Hello, Saeed. Happy Tuesday to you, I believe. Good morning, my friend. Our RSI is sitting at about 57. The number's not really relevant, but it is above 50. Are we going to continue to probably dance around the moving average and maybe grind up? It does kind of look like it's consolidating, though, doesn't it? My only concern for all of these assets is that we might be setting up a bear flag, and a bear flag is never good unless we break bullish. Now, that's not entirely out of the question. I think I've talked about it briefly in the past. Whenever we see a bearish pattern and we invalidate that bearish pattern, it is always a very violent move of invalidation. So if we see, for example, a head and shoulder pattern, and we get to the neckline and then it invalidates, it usually goes bam, like straight up. Violent invalidation. Whenever we see a bear flag, let's say, and that bear flag invalidates, instead of trading up and then breaking down, it would do this and then go bam, invalidated to the upside. It's always been like that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the bulls really stepping up. I don't know if it's a trap by the market maker. I have no clue. But whenever we've seen a bearish pattern invalidate, it's always the craziest like fireworks scenario. Volume's kind of fallen a little bit on this move, which is mildly concerning. There's a lot of FUD going around about precious metals, though. I've been seeing people talking about how silver, like jewelers and stuff like that, they have so much silver that they can't do anything with it and stuff like that. I don't know. It just seems. Now I understand that with the scrap silver makes sense because there's no people able to refine it, but like the regular like bullion and stuff like that, that's the article that I saw recently, and I was like, I think they're full of crap. But who knows, man? Who knows? Silver currently trading at 82.21. We got some bullish div here, which is interesting. Now this is the kind of bullish div that I always talk crap about, where eventually, this is good for a little midterm reversal, but a continuation of the downside, where the RSI continues the upside. Eventually, this will have to invalidate as well. It's not just going to perpetually be like that for forever, but we'll have to see that actually play out. I'm liking the wick that we got right here. The same thing on pretty much every single asset. RSI sitting right above 50. We'll see how quickly, I suppose. We'll see how quickly that moving average gets pulled up there, and if we're going to continue to do the thing that we've been doing on pretty much every single asset. Green dot of the momentum wave pointing the upside here as well. DXY. DXY is the big story of the day. The DXY, the dollar, has broken below the 15-year trend line once again. I don't know why. We got some potentially bullish Warsh info today. He basically wants to, I think we read about it the other day, but more people are talking about it today. He wants to reignite something or some kind of accord between the Fed and the Treasury or something like that. Essentially, some semblance of quantitative easing, from what I understand, which I don't understand much. But we got this establishment, April, May 2011, touch in June, July 2021, and then most recently July, August, July, September, we'll call it July, September 25. And this trend line has basically been support for the DXY for 15 years, which is a long time. 15 years is a long time. That's 10% of a century. 15% of a century. 15% of a century. So what I see here, especially on the weekly, it looks like we got explosive downside, beautiful wick recovery, and then a rejection. So obviously we're going to have to wait until Sunday, or I guess Friday, technically. Does the DXY trade on the weekends? We have to wait until Sunday for the weekly close. I'm going to just call it Sunday. And see if our candle... Monday... No, these are Monday candles. Okay, so see if our... So yeah, it has to close on Friday, right? Let's go to the daily, see what the daily says. Monday, Friday. Yeah, it closes on Friday. Okay, so we'll have to wait until Friday to see how this closes on Friday. If it closes below this trend line, then we got some potential bullish scenario for assets. The RSI potential right here, though, is a little bounce. We'll see where that takes the price. Again, though, we got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Basically 3 more days. Friday's the day that it closes, so we'll see what plays out. This is exciting for me, though. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee, up 2.6% on the day. If you're wondering why I call it Big B Coffee, it's because whoever redesigned the logo clearly just blatantly ripped off, copy-pasted Big B Coffee, which cracks me up. Currently trading at 138.44. Are we going to get back above this trend line? This trend line is a vague concept of what our resistance was way back here when MicroStrategy just started getting popular and fun, and then it exploded. Everyone was partying. And then it eventually took a big fat doo-doo down to the downside after hitting a high of, whoops, oh my gosh, it wicked all the way up to 543. But right here, we got, looks like 450. We're just going to call it 450. I was looking for a target of 500. I didn't realize it even wicked up there, to be completely honest. But that upper trend line, somewhat relevant. Let's see if it acts as resistance now. Now that we're getting some downside. We're getting some pullback here, some consolidation, if you will, on the price. Key moments to note for strategy specifically. The only real moment that I'm aware of is Vanguard purchasing some strategy on January 20th. Outside of that, pretty much a nothing burger. They are incapable of becoming liquidated, so that FUD always cracks me up, in case you guys were curious at all. People are always like, what's going to happen when Sailor gets liquidated? Sailor's not using leverage. Sailor's buying spot, and all he has to do, he has debt obligations. If you're wondering, where does he keep getting all of this money? He issues debt, essentially. He dilutes the supply of shares, and he says, I'll give you 11% a month, and in exchange, I'm going to use your money to buy Bitcoin. And he has cash reserves as well that cover that dividend as well. So I believe he has cash reserves for up to 2 years of coverage. So in order to force liquidate Sailor in a way that everybody would be satisfied with using the word liquidate, they would have to suppress the price of Bitcoin for over 2 years. They would have to hope and pray that Sailor does not issue more debt and acquire more USD to lower his average. And then they would have to, like I said, suppress the price for 2 years. Did I say that already? To basically force Sailor to sell to get enough cash for his dividends after that 2-year mark. So, anyways, NASDAQ down 0.09% on the day, currently trading at 25,233. Are we going to continue grinding up here as well? Kind of out in no man's land, to be completely honest. I would love to see this thing get back above, I don't know, 25.5? 25.5 I think would make me happy, because that's kind of the midpoint, I would call it, of this whole cloud right here. All of this, I would say 25.5 is your midpoint. So right now it kind of seems like we're on the bearish end of the situation. I'm going to get back above that. RSI looks good for continued upside. We'll see what plays out. Green dot at the moment, then we point to the upside. Positive money fall. I don't know if market cipher applies to this at all, but I'm going to continue to bring it up anyways. 25.5 is my desired price target for the NASDAQ. Crypto Spaces said, dang, we have another year of this. 88 Metals Mania said, and Sailor better hope people want to buy his dilution. Also, Bitcoin to go up, pretty simple, eh? Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess the thing that really spooks me is that he did something similar during the dot-com bubble, but I think that there's a lot more money floating around now, so it might be more in his favor this time around than it was back then. I don't know. Oh, to anyone that just showed up, guys, I asked you, we got 8 votes, so I'm sure majority of you guys have voted. Also, please smash the like button down below. We've been getting a lot of views, not a lot of likes, which is kind of funny. But please direct your attention to that poll in the chat. I asked you guys everything paused. Which asset breaks out, up or down first? Bitcoin, gold and silver, or stocks so far? 4 of you guys voted for gold and silver. That is the vast majority with 50% of the votes. And then stocks with 38% and Bitcoin with 12%. Interesting. S&P looks really good here. Pretty close to new all-time highs. The fractal kind of falling apart, but the general concept is there. If you're not aware and unable to decipher, the general idea of a fractal is number go up and to the right. So I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. Tom Selleck said you should consider raising your volume. I have you near maxed, and when I go to another channel, my ears explode. All right, I can bring the mic closer to my mouth. Does that actually help? Let me know if that helps. Because I can actually see where my mic is, my mic level, and it's almost maxed out. I think it's my mic positioning. So let me know if this works better for you. Let's see. S&P. Let's go take a look at the Dow. Can't type today. Dow Jones. Bam. $50,128.56. Looking good. I mean, not much to say about this, to be completely honest. Trump is looking for 100K, which is crazy, but he's got 3 more years to do it, man. And like I said, I had the same thoughts as Tom. So I've had this complaint in the past, and it's gotten better with the new mic, but I'm not entirely sure what more I can do. Okay, having the mic closer helps. Okay, good. Now, how's the quality of the stream? Because I did get a new router. The modem is on its way. The guy told me, this cracked me up, because I went to school for information technology. The guy's like, well, your modem's not compatible with our router. Your modem's only capable of 300, and our router does 400. Our service is 400. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got off the phone with him. I did a speed test. I get like 475 download. I was like, oh, must be my router might be bottlenecking, or my modem might be bottlenecking the router. Guy was full of crap. Yes, I did Crypto Spaces. Crypto Spaces said, did you see that vid of people's reaction to the Coinbase ad during the Super Bowl? Yes, dude, I was cracking up. Yeah, 88 Metals Mania said it's all compatible. That's what's cracking me. He's like, well, your modem's not compatible to our router. I was like, oh yeah? Oh yeah, tell me about it. Oh man, I better get that new modem then, right? And then I did a speed test and he was full of shit. But yeah, the Coinbase thing was cracked me up, dude. Now, I see what they did with the ad. I actually thought it was quite clever. Everyone's talking about it. So, genius marketing. And because people are going to be like, Coinbase, crypto, stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then out of that whole friend group, maybe 20% of them are going to go download the app. Be like, what's this crypto thing about? So, it was clever marketing. And they did the karaoke thing. It was super fun. Everybody was doing it. And then at the end, this is what cracked me up, is people were pointing this out. They're like, Coinbase had everyone singing Backstreet Boys on their TVs, and then at the end they got rug pulled, and it was a Coinbase ad. It was very, very crypto, and I was like, damn, they did get rug pulled. Oh man, it was so funny. 88 Metals Mania said, why not get the new stuff though? You're already paying for it. Keep up to date. And then, that's what I said. The new one's coming. It's arriving tomorrow. That's what cracked me up. I was like, my equipment's out of date. I called them because they owe me. You know, they're like, yeah, you're eligible for the upgrade. I'm like, okay, cool. So they send me, they're like, we're sending it to you. And I'm like, okay, sweet. I told you guys when that happened. That happened like a month ago. The guy's like, it might take like 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, okay. Never heard from him, never got anything. So I call back. I'm like, hey, the guy told me that I was going to get a new equipment. And the chick's like, yeah, I see here there's a note on your file, but he never sent the equipment. And I don't know why. I was like, oh, that's kind of messed up. And she's like, yeah, I'm sending it out right away. And I explained everything to her. She's like, it should never take 2 weeks. It should be there tomorrow. I was like, okay, sweet. Thank you. Then it arrives. No, I don't want them to install. I don't want them in my apartment. They can go F themselves. But it arrives, and it's just the router. I'm like, what the heck? So I called them back. I'm like, hey. Then they're like, yeah, we can only send them out separately. It's like, what? But it's like, you need both of them. So I had to order the modem next, which arrives tomorrow now. So I don't know. It's been kind of funky, but that is what it is. Hopefully my speed is no longer bottlenecked because of my incompatible modem. Oh, okay. Tom Selleck's Code said I posted that rug pull comic in the Discord. Okay, yeah, dude, I saw that. That shit was so funny. That shit was so funny. I know, but did they offer to? Yes. So the reason why I didn't get it a couple of years ago is because they said that I could either pick it up at the store or have a guy install it. Those were my only 2 options. And I was like, no, thanks. I'll pick it up at the store. Never got around to it because the nearest store is like an hour away. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then eventually I was like, can you just mail it to me? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. It's 2026. Awesome. Look at Snack is up 10.38%. God, I'd love to see it. Okay. Bitcoin $70,314.13. Let's continue. News segment. Drake. Drake put a $1 million bet on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl and lost. What an idiot. 88 Metals Mania said, cool, I don't want them in either. Yeah, dude, I don't want them in my apartment. They stink and stuff. They're stupid. I had them come and install when we first moved in here. Like, we tell the guy, we're like, we want it on this wall. He goes, okay. He leaves. We come out, and it's on that wall. It's on the opposite wall that we told him to put it on. I was like looking at it, and I was like, what did he do? Blows my mind. That's the second time that I've had a like completely incapable cable guy trying to, and their jobs are so simple, dude. Oh, blows my mind, man. At least it's not Frontier though. Frontier is garbage internet. Okay, China orders banks to reduce U.S. Treasury holdings. Binance buys 4,225 Bitcoin worth $300 million for its Seifu fund. Elon Musk says SpaceX plans to build a self-growing city on the moon within 10 years. Now, here's my question. If we and this might be a stupid question, so tell me if this is stupid. If we start taking stuff off of Earth, which has like, you know, its gravitational pull, whatever, it's going around the freaking sun. We start taking stuff off of the Earth and putting it on the moon. Now, this might be stupid. So again, wouldn't that reduce the weight of the Earth and increase the weight of the moon? And then eventually, maybe millions of years from now, but wouldn't that eventually like mess something up? To where maybe the moon is heavier and it's like, oh, it's getting further away. It's getting pulled closer to the sun or something. I have no idea. But is that a thought that they consider at all? I don't know. Maybe my little kid space brain is like, oh, the moon is going to get too heavy. I don't know, man. 88 Metals Mania said wrong wall. And at the 3-foot height, the fellas are dolts. It's a stupid question, you're right. It is. It seems like a silly question, but if it's a self-growing city, it seems like it's gonna get kind of heavy. I'm just saying. Michael Saylor's strategy buys 1,142 Bitcoin worth $78 million. Hell yeah! Did anyone watch the Super Bowl yesterday? You guys were kind of all here during the stream, which kind of blew my mind. If you did, I got a question for you. Who used the Kalshi referral link and placed bets during the game? Jokes aside, if you do want to support the channel and be a degenerate gambler, if you sign up with the referral link for Kalshi in the description, we both get $25 in non-withdrawable site credit when you deposit and bet $25 or more. CoinMarketCap Fear and Greed is at 10. Interesting. Yesterday it was at 9. Last week it was at 17. I think the lowest we hit was 5 or 6. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before April. 88 Metals Mania said, halftime show, any thoughts? Are you going to think that I'm full of shit if I tell you that I didn't see it? I have not watched it yet. I spent my day, I streamed, and then I went and I watched a TV show with my family, and I passed out. And then I woke up and I went to work. Which is what I do every weekend. Yesterday was just another weekend for me. I will say, the craziest thing happened. Usually, Super Bowl Sunday, I completely forget about it. And then I go grocery shopping and there's nothing at the store. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I see all the Super Bowl stuff everywhere. And I'm like, oh, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Because then all the good food's gone. But that didn't happen. And I did go shopping. And nobody, I don't know if people just didn't buy stuff. Or if the stores were more prepared or something. It was weird. Crypto Spaces said, I like the halftime show. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Haven't heard anything good or bad. Crypto Spaces said, I don't think that's how it works. How do you know, though? How do we even know? Let's ask Rock. I'm going to ask Rock, because this is a stupid question. If we take a bunch of weight off the Earth, various items and materials, and put them on the moon, would that affect the Earth and moon's orbit? Also, no, I'm not going to ask if it's a stupid question, because then Grok is going to be like, there's no such thing as a stupid question, and it's going to get all like political and shit. Okay, Tom Selleck's Code said, I watched the game, but realized sports prediction markets are a great way to lose all your money 10 years ago. Oh, that's fair. I thoroughly enjoy. I think my favorite so far is the words one. The words one is so stupid because you're like, what's this person gonna say during this event? And it's like the most random words. They're like pickle or like cabinet, nonsense, Sleepy Joe. One of the markets right now is if Trump is gonna say Sleepy Joe during his State of the Union. I was like, he'll probably say Sleepy Joe, right? I haven't bet on it yet, but I'm thinking about it. It's been in my brain. Crypto Spaces said, I'm just more interested on the looks that average people hate crypto. Without new money, the space will continue to suck. That's what I mean, though. They being the banks right now that are institutionalizing everything, they have not switched on that switch to get people to buy crypto. We did really good ourselves in 2021 with the GameStop saga and all that stuff. And then maximum extraction happened. So we're kind of stuck on that. 88 Metals Mania said, I lost on the miss, a word in the national anthem. Oh, did they not miss a word? Who sang it? Dang, that's crazy. I'm kind of mad that I didn't see that market. That would have been brilliant. I'm getting drummer from this question. Drummer. Oh, I'm getting dumber from this question. Wow, clearly I am as well. I can't read no more. Damn. Okay. God, that's such good coffee today. Wow. I feel like I have to be quieter now that the mic's right in front of my face. Okay. Let's continue. Tom Lee's Bitmine buys 40,000. Whoa! 40,613 ETH worth $82 million. Are they just doing the same thing as Saylor? This is what drives me crazy. People are like, where's the money going to come from? Tom Lee and Michael Saylor continue to just basically print money. Can I do that? Will you guys just give me money to buy crypto? I'm starting a crypto fund. It's of pretty much zero benefit to you guys, but if you give me money, I will buy crypto with it. How about that? Well, jokes aside, we are going to be doing a giveaway soon because you guys have been killing it, showing up for the stream, smashing the like button, and subscribing. So show a little bit of appreciation. We're going to do a long stream soon too. Maybe on Saturday we'll do a 12-hour. Crypto Spaces said, I don't understand Spanish, but seeing all the Latinas was fun. Yeah, they are doing the same as Sailor. At least Tom Lee gets APY from his ETH, and a lot of it. That's true. That is true. I will say, ETH's price kind of took a poo-poo after they switched to proof of stake, but it does heavily benefit the stakers with a shit ton of money. ETH has to go to 5K for him to break even, unless he just holds it for forever and uses the dividends. Would that be funny if his what if his payout, what if his incentive, his dividends was just what his ETH staking rewards was? That would be really funny. That would be really funny. 15 years ago today, this is a crazy one. 15 years ago today, Bitcoin reached $1 for the first time. Could you imagine that? 15 years ago today, Bitcoin reached $1 for the first time. World's biggest YouTuber, Mr. Beast, acquires banking app Step. Oh, we did this the other day. Let's do it again to see if we get better views. I love Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is the greatest. Mr. Beast is amazing. I love Mr. Beast. Yes, Mr. Beast. Guys, thumbs up in the chat for Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Thank you, Mr. Beast. Just in, odds of Coinbase beating quarterly earnings surged to 73%. Wow. Fed Governor Waller says crypto dips have happened before and big crashes are normal. Years ago, if you said Bitcoin was 10K, you'd say, oh my God, this is crazy. What a badass. I love that he's spreading the gospel. That's pretty funny. That's a pretty good quote. Years ago, if you said Bitcoin was $10,000, you'd say, oh my God, this is crazy. Tom Selleck's goat said, my goats. Crypto Spaces said, most would not hold that long. People that made billions from Bitcoin are psychopaths. They're either psychopaths or just complete idiots that forgot about everything. And then they found it. They're like, oh my gosh. Whoa, I think this is my seed phrase for the Bitcoins. For my Bitcoins. And then they went and typed it in and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm a billionaire. Tom Selleck's goat said, arrest Mr. Beast and CZ. Drummer said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Everyone, appreciate you, Drummer. Crypto Spaces said, paid to be clinically insane, though. Oh, 100%. That's what's, I think my biggest fumble so far in my life is looking into Bitcoin in 2012 and just being like, eh. Like, if I would have just mined a little bit, I'd probably be a millionaire right now. Watcher Guru posted, House Democrats seek to overturn President Trump's tariffs on Canada. Oh, wow. Why just one specific country? That's weird. President Trump says the U.S. economy can grow at 15% if Kevin Warsh does his job right as Fed chair. Pretty cool. Elon Musk says SpaceX is building a system that allows anyone to travel to the moon. That's also pretty cool. Marty Party posted, here is Bitcoin versus BlackRock iShares expanded tech ETF. Clearly, the market makers are correlating Bitcoin to a software stock, NASDAQ IGV mirror image. I might get hate for this, but I'm not convinced of this whole market maker thing. Is that crazy? Like, I'm more convinced now than I was maybe like a couple months ago. But it seems like weird copium to me for everything to be like the market maker. You know? I don't know. Crypto Spaces said you can't say that though. You might have sold at 2K per Bitcoin. I might have. I looked into it and then I could have mined a little bit and then it was at a time in my life where I was very transitionary and I then just ran. Yeah, I probably would have sold it. You're probably right. I probably would have sold it. Which is, I guess that's where my best case scenario comes into play because I only spent like 2 hours looking into it and then I was like, I didn't actually like mine it and then sell it way too early or lose my seed phrase or lose my hardware wallet or whatever, None of that happened, which is good. 88 Metals Mania said Bitmine's current stake position of 2.9 million ETH, generating 202 million in annualized revenue. That's pretty sick. That's awesome. Okay, yeah, this correlation is crazy for the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very heavily correlated with tech stocks. I think we've known that for quite some time. People are just now coming to terms with it. Marty Party also posted stablecoin mint 1 minute ago. Another 500 million USDC issued on Solana by Circle Treasury. Pretty cool. We do like 500 million. Tom Selleck said, Binance, October 10th, the market maker. See, that was a fumble. But also, we also know that, like, there are actual market makers like Wintermute and stuff like that. So that's why I said I'm not 100% on board with the idea that there's like this big Pentaverate cabal Illuminati scenario. I'm not against it either. I'm not sure if every single thing can be applied to, like, oh, well, the market maker. Son of a bitch, the market maker. It was that damn market maker this time. And next time it'll be the market maker as well. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're responsible for everything. Okay. Bitcoin up 0.21% on the day, currently trading at $70,278.29. God, I love Snack. I love Snack so much. So pretty. All right, let's see what Grok said. In principle, I knew it. I knew it. In principle, yes, transferring mass from Earth to the moon would affect the Earth-Moon system's mutual orbit, but the effect would be extremely small and negligible for any realistic amount of mass humans could move. The Earth and Moon orbit their common center of mass, which currently lies however many kilometers from Earth's center inside Earth, since Earth is 81 times more massive than the moon. Transferring mass, oh god, I don't even want to read this, just give me the TLDR. Scale of effect for any plausible bunch of material, roughly the mass of a small mountain or all current human spacecraft combined, all current human spacecraft combined, barycenter shift, completely undetectable and irrelevant to tides, seasons, or stability. To produce a notable shift, orders, magnitude, blah, blah, blah. In summary, the laws of physics say there is an effect, but for any real-world mass transfer, mining colonization, it would be far too tiny to matter. The Earth-Moon orbit would remain effectively identical. Okay, so it's moot. Here's my next question. The way that space works, with basically no gravity in space and very little gravity on the moon and stuff like that. When, like, if you and I are up in space and we're just holding completely still, and I go and I like tap you, we would both equally just go, whee, we would start floating away from each other, right? How come when we land on the moon? I'm so sorry. How come when we land on the moon, it doesn't push the moon away? It doesn't push the moon away from the Earth a little bit. Oh, I gotta do a podcast, man. Just ask stupid questions to Neil deGrasse Tyson or something. Okay, Tom Selleck Scout said, some questions you should just think about, not ask Grok. This was an easy one for your brain could have handled. No, that's not fair. I want to know the actual answer. JJ, you okay? I'm completely sober right now, believe it or not. I'm very tired. I got up early and I worked in the cold all day, and the coffee is very good right now as well. So I'm going to blame the coffee. Okay. Let's not push the moon away too soon. Oh my god. Okay. Marty Party posted, Federal Reserve, oh god, this is a long one. Bear with me. Federal Reserve Governor Stephen Moran states there are emerging signs of stress in the U.S. job market. This aligns with his consistent dovish stance throughout late 2025 and into 2026. Moran has repeatedly emphasized risk to employment from overly restrictive monetary policy, arguing that the high interest rates have contributed to a gradual cooling in labor conditions, including drifting higher unemployment. Slower hiring, pockets of weakness, especially among younger workers, longer job search durations, and unnecessary risks of layoffs. He has advocated for significant rate cuts to support the labor market without reigniting inflation, viewing underlying inflation as near or approaching the 2% target. In recent months, he's noted the labor market's gradual cooling trend over the years, with some recent data providing minor relief but not fully alleviating concerns. The January 2026 FOMC held rates steady, with Mirren dissenting in favor of a cut alongside Waller. And the statement noted low job gains but some stabilization signs, though Mirren's remarks suggested he sees fresh evidence of fragility, potentially from recent indicators like JOLTS openings dropping sharply or softening private payrolls. Implications for markets: such comments from a Fed governor, especially one who's been vocal on employment risks, could reinforce expectations for easier policy ahead, supporting risk assets if it signals the Fed might prioritize jobs over inflation fears. However, other Fed voices have been more cautious, viewing the market as stabilizing rather than stressed. Overall, Mirren's statement fits his pattern of highlighting downside employment risks to push for more aggressive easing. Watch upcoming data, next job report, for confirmation of these signs. Mr. Roberts said, "We all know the Earth is flat and the moon is a side plate." Crypto Spaces said I would watch that podcast. Jordan must be feeling great. Everyone is glazing him, saying he was the only one right about the crash we had in his comment section. Well, good for him. That's awesome. All right, Bitcoin getting a little duty here on a very, very short time frame. My favorite theory so far, Mr. Roberts, for the Earth is the magnetic pole argument. I like the hollow Earth theory, where you got the Earth and you got the magnetic poles, and the magnetic poles actually go into the hollow Earth. So Earth is more of like a cored apple, if you will. And this is really trippy to think about. But just imagine that. In reality, when you really think about it, the best argument to be made for this is flight patterns. Why can't we fly? If I take a plane to Russia or China, and we're right here, and Russia and China's right here, why can't we just go over? Why do we have to go all the way around? That seems like such a huge waste of gas. Am I crazy? It's because there's a freaking hole and you would get sucked into the Earth. Looks like my ex-wife. Oh no. Damn. Okay. That's my favorite one that I've seen recently. I saw that one and I was like, whoa, that's trippy. So I thought I'd share the intellectual conversations. There's a reason why this is not a science channel. Bitcoin 70,094 and 47 cents. John Tujo said, "Is there really an interview going around with Trump saying he made a mistake nominating Warsh or whatever his name is? I don't know." 88 Metals Mania, Crypto Spaces said, "Get the tinfoil hat out." Oh, I should have put it. I mean, that just shows you how serious I am about this theory. Okay. Breaking. China has instructed banks to begin selling and limit purchases of U.S. government bonds amid concerns that U.S. debt may expose banks to sharp swings. Very nice. Kobayashi later posted, HIMS stock extended losses to minus 17% on the day as Novo Nordisk says it's suing the company for making knockoffs of its obesity medicines. That's crazy. Tom Selleck Scout said, critical thinking not required for crypto. That is true. That is very true. Crypto Spaces said, what's an interesting conspiracy is that all the recent cancer being cured makes me think there's something bigger going on. Ooh, I didn't think about that. My father passed away from cancer, liver and lung. And my niece right now has a very rare form of cancer that's been coming and going. Like, she gets a treatment and it goes away and then it comes back. So that is topical to me in a sense. But obviously the very rare form I think is gonna be a lot harder to cure than the common ones. You know what I mean? Tom Salscote said, ripped all those people shilling hymns for the last year. That's what somebody else said that. I think Bar Chart posted about that, but I don't recall seeing anyone shill that recently, so I must have missed that boat. That was actually going to lead me into a joke. I'll tell the joke when I actually get to the post later. 88 Metals Mania said, wait till Trump comes out and takes credit for curing it. I haven't seen anything about curing cancer. You guys tripped me out. Okay. Retail investors are piling into gold and silver funds. The largest physical-backed gold ETF, GLD, has attracted $16 billion in inflows from individual investors over the last year. The largest physical silver-backed ETF, SLV, has seen $4 billion in retail inflows. Over the last 5 months, individual investors bought $9 billion of gold, or 56% of the total over the last year. Wow. For SLV, retail inflows totaled $3 billion over the same period, 3 times more than the preceding 7 months. Meanwhile, in January, global gold ETFs posted $19 billion in inflows, the strongest month on record. Retail is going all in on gold and silver. That makes me nervous. That genuinely makes me nervous. Cryptospace says, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Kobe SE letter. Breaking. Total consumer credit surged $24 billion in December to a record $5.11 trillion. 88 Metals Mania said, no, that's volume, right? This is so alarming to me. This actually freaks me out. I don't like it when retail does stuff because we're supposed to be retail, and I'm not doing that. Retail is like, we want gold and silver, and gold and silver is like, it looks a little rickety, and I'm like, ooh, looks like gold and silver are probably done. Let's see. Just look it up. Different parts of the world curing certain types of cancer since America left the World Health Organization. Ooh, that's spicy meatball. One thing that kind of ruins the whole America leaving the World Health Organization thing for me. It's not important, but I just watched World War Z, which is a great movie, by the way. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it yet. Especially if you haven't seen it yet, go watch that movie. It's amazing. But actually, I'm not going to say it now because you guys have to go watch it. But the World Health Organization is involved heavily at a certain point in that movie. No spoilers. I definitely need to make a foil hat in here. Yeah, for real. Gold and silver are both scary now with retail leverage. Big swings now possible. I'm convinced that all of the moves that we've seen recently and like the slowdown and the sell-offs and stuff have all been fueled by leverage. I'm 100% convinced. I think post-pandemic, everyone was like, oh, we can just leverage everything. Everything is going to be leveraged to the tits. And we went way overboard with leverage. And everyone's like, oh, I'm just going to DCA into a 2x or a 3x. And then they're getting liquidated every like 6 months. A huge chunk of people get liquidated. And everyone's like, what's all this volatility? What's all this then? And it's because there's no money in the market. It's all just like hollow funds. People like big swings, no? Isn't that a benefit of Bitcoin? I don't know. That's a good question. Volatility is, but we've definitely seen zero volatility. Downside is not volatility. Downside is just crash. Okay, total consumer credit surged $24 billion in December to a record $5.11 trillion. This marks the biggest monthly increase of 2025 and the largest since 2023. CryptoSpaces said Ben Cowan thinks alt season in 2028. Okay. Revolving credit which includes credit cards, jumped $13.8 billion to $1.33 trillion, the highest since November 2022. This was also the largest monthly increase since 2023. Non-revolving credit, mainly auto and student loans, soared $10.2 billion to a record $3.78 trillion. Meanwhile, the average credit card interest rate remains elevated at 22.2%, near all-time highs of 23.4%, despite the Fed slashing rates by 175 basis points since September 2024. Americans are fighting surging prices with more debt. Damn. CryptoSpaces said, my gosh, I am a retard for not selling everything in 2024. Man. All right. Kobe SE letter, the stablecoin market is ripe for disruption. In just 9 months in 2025, Tether alone reported 10 billion in profit from USDT. How is this possible? Tether reported 137 billion in US Treasury holdings, making the company the 17th largest holder of US debt. Tether takes the capital invested in USDT, lends it to the US government, and collects the yield. Stablecoin holders are effectively lending Tether capital at a 0% interest rate, which is then flipped on treasuries, leading on-chain innovation. Jupiter already launched Jupe USD, the first on-chain focused stablecoin designed to return this yield to ecosystem. The stablecoin yield model is changing. Interesting. I will say, it does seem like it would be really easy to do kind of like a bank model, do what the banks do and be like, hey, you go store your money with me and we'll give you a little bit more than what the traditional banks give you. The traditional banks give you like 0.2%. We'll actually give you 1%. And then you get to collect whatever the other big percentage is of whatever that, I don't know. It's kind of funny to me that hasn't happened yet. And I think we're starting to see that happen with things like SoFi and other big online banks. I forget they're called. There's a certain term for online bank, but I don't know. I think we're going to see a big flip soon. Maybe soon is not the right word. I think we're going to see a big flip eventually. Breaking: U.S. stocks extend gains to new high of the day, with the Nasdaq 100 now up 1%. The S&P 500 is now 30 points away from a record high. This was 10 hours ago. Very cool stuff. Used car prices are surging again. Wholesale used vehicle prices rose 2.4% month over month and 2.4% year over year in January to the highest since September 2023. This is well above the long-term average monthly decline of 0.2%. Non-electric vehicles led the increase at 2.2% year over year, followed by luxury at 1.6% and electric vehicles at 0.8%. This comes as wholesale supply dropped minus 5.1 days month over month to 26.6 days. At the same time, sales conversion, or the percentage of vehicles sold at auction, surged 6.5 percentage points month over month to 60.7%, plus 3.2 percentage points above the 3-year average, indicating rising demand. With tax refund season expected to set a record, demand for used vehicles could push prices even higher. Used car inflation is heating up. I didn't even think about tax refunds. I completely forgot I was getting money from the IRS. Should I sell my car? I've been thinking about getting rid of my van for forever. Getting a different one. Okay. Let's see. We do like number go up. That is true. 88 Metals Mania said, man, Tether has a lot of money, eh? Oh, they have all the money. Crypto Spaces said, Metal Mania, your name is accurate because metal has better volatility than Bitcoin now. Indeed, I stacked metals for decades, did nothing more swings today than the last 10 years. That probably feels so good, dude. Good game for sure. I actually sold some physical and bought some paper on the rip down. Ooh. I've been thinking about getting rid of a very small percentage of my physical. Very, very small amount. Just because I'm not a fan of this lingerie kind of setup. And I know they say not to buy paper, but I'm doing it for an investment. So paper's just a lot more liquid. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong way to think about it. I'll just do crypto and stocks for my liquid assets, and metals will be my safe haven. That's the way that I'm going to do it. Don't change. Don't fix when it broke. Okay. Next we've got market breadth is surging. 65.6% of S&P 500 stocks have outperformed the index over the last 3 months, the highest reading since late 2024. This is the 5th strongest market participation in 23 years. By comparison, the long-term average is around 50%, while the 20-year low was 19%. This marks a sharp reversal from late 2025, while the percentage hit 26%, signaling extreme concentration in mega-cap names. For reference, in full year 2024 and 2025, only 29% and 31% of stocks beat the index, respectively. The bull market is broadening. Interesting. Tom Saltzcoat said paper is the way to go. I feel like that's subjective. Breaking: Check funds recorded $6 billion in inflows last week, the largest intake in 8 weeks. This brings the 4-week moving average up to $3.5 billion, the third largest on record. Inflows have now been positive for 7 consecutive months. Overall, plus $34.6 billion flowed into stocks last week, alongside $87.2 billion into cash and $23 billion into bonds. Meanwhile, investors withdrew $1.2 billion from utilities over the last 2 weeks, the biggest 2-week outflow since November 2024. Investors are rapidly accumulating tech stocks. Yeah, I think we're gonna hit a situation, and here's my base case for the continued bull market. I think right now everyone is guessing, they're like, we're gonna have a .com bubble kind of pop with AI, and that's gonna happen soon. I think that's what everyone thinks right now. And I think the opposite is going to happen. I think we're going to have a exponential growth curve brought on by AI, and that is going to lead to like enormous growth in the stock market and just risk assets in general. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised and probably left behind. They're going to be looking for a pullback. That's not going to happen. I'm really just guessing. Tom Selleck Scout said no one got $5,600 for their physical gold, but people who had paper gold sold for that price. That's actually totally fair. People that wanted $5,600 went to the right places. They either went to a smaller shop outside of a big city, like a place that pays spot for gold and silver, or they sold it on eBay. So it's definitely less. That's what I mean when I say it's less liquid. It's way less liquid, but it is entirely possible, and it is still in your hands. So if you're a paranoid, gay frog, fluoride water believer, gotta make sure the antenna's in the right spot, then you like physical. Plus, it's fun to touch. I don't know if have you ever held physical metals in your hands? It's quite nice. There you go. 88 Metals Mania said I got $3 under spot, 100 ounces worth. That's crazy. Hell yeah. He was selling spot plus 8%. There you go, man. All you gotta do, you gotta negotiate with people. A lot of people get their asses handed to them. They go in there like, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa had this silver, and I'm just looking to sell it. And the guy's like, I can give you a 50% spot. And they're like, ooh, can I call my mom and aunt? They're like, I'm not, I got customers. I'm not waiting. Okay, can you give me like an extra $10? You know what? I'll make you a deal. Okay, thank you. And then they get 50% plus $10. Because everyone goes in being a little weenie. I don't know what to do. I can't negotiate. I've never done any kind of anything in person before. And then they get their asses handed to them. And Mom, guess what? I got 50% of what that was worth. And then their mom beats their ass. And then they get even more messed up. Okay. 88 Metals Mania said his maples above 2016 was at spot. That's disgusting. I don't want to hear about his maples. Okay. Big Tech is sacrificing buybacks for AI capex. Combined buybacks by Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, and Oracle plunged to $12.6 billion in Q4 2025, the lowest since Q1 2018. Share repurchases have declined 74% since the $48 billion peak seen in 2021. Amazon has not bought back a single stock since Q2 2022, redirecting capital into AI infrastructure. Meta slashed share repurchases to a combined $3.3 billion in Q3 and Q4 2025, down from $3.3 billion in 2021. At the same time, Alphabet cut buybacks to $17 billion, nearly half the $30.6 billion spent in the same time period in 2024. CapEx is all that matters. See, this is, I guess, what has me so, not so sure, I guess, but so confident in my exponential growth theory. Like, these companies aren't stupid, and they're not all going to go away. There's a reason why they're the biggest companies in the world. I'm still irritated that Oracle is suddenly part of the group, but that's whatever. New friend out of the friend group, that's fine. You know, we can deal with them for a little while. But they're not just throwing money into a pit. They've got everything that they need. All they need to do is implement at this point. I don't know. Tom Selleck's Goat said, I didn't think about the buybacks stopping. No wonder stock prices are flat. Yeah. 88 Metals Mania said, yes, buying silver maples for spot. Yeah. Does anyone have any bars? I know a lot of people got bullion. They got the coins. I like the 1 ounce bars. 1 ounce bars are cool looking. Nobody has bars. They were running hard though, Tom Selleck, so they consolidating now. Oh yeah, dude, the stock, even like all that considered, the S&P is still, what is it, 0.3% or something stupid away from all-time highs? 0.5% away from all-time highs. Come on. With no buybacks. It's pretty crazy. Like, it's not even being propped up by the companies anymore. They're just being propped up by money, like actual money coming in. Trueflation posted U.S. inflation today based on independent real price data. U.S. CPI 0.68%, U.S. core CPI 1.06%, U.S. PCE 1.24%, U.S. core PCE 1.5%, U.S. BLS comparison index, if we use BLS weighing, 0.34%. On our website, you can access all of those indexes, their composition, detailed methodology, historical data, and multiple sub-indexes for component categories, goods, services, and core inflation, which excludes food and energy prices. Hell yeah. Honestly, never really thought about any kind of data aggregation. People just get into that, and then they eventually make money off of it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Cointelegraph posted, now, crypto fear and greed index doubles to 14 from yesterday's 7, but remains stuck in extreme fear territory. That was 20 hours ago. Let's go check the traditional fear and greed. 9. Wow. It was at 13 yesterday. Today it's back at 9. Wow. That didn't take much. That's crazy, dude. This is actually insane. And I hate acting all flabbergasted because every time we look at anywhere in the news, they're like, people will talk about today for the next, history will talk reference this day. And I'm like, how many times are they going to say that? But it is crazy to see things like this actually happen repeatedly. 88 said, yes, I have some old vids on my channel with a few vintage bars from like 10 to 15 years ago. That's awesome. 5 was crazy the other day. Dude, 5 was insane. CryptoSpaces said, building apps, the best way to make it? Apparently, I actually want to try my hand at building a game. I think building a game would be fun. It dropped a 5 on CoinMarketCap. Yes, it did. I actually prefer CoinMarketCap because, and we've talked about it 1,000 times, you guys know how much this irks me. Is it even on here anymore? Did they get rid of it because I complained? No, it's right here. They just stopped doing surveys. They're like, we're not doing it anymore. We don't care. Together with strawpoll.com, quite a large public polling platform. Yeah, they own straw polls. We're conducting weekly crypto polls and asking people what they see in the market, blah, blah, blah. Usually we're seeing 2,000 to 3,000 votes on each poll, so we do get a picture of the sentiment of a group of crypto investors. We don't give those results too much attention, but it was quite useful in the beginning of our studies. You can see some recent results here. So they're still doing, I don't know, it's driving me crazy. Just remove that entirely. Remove this. Remove this. Remove this. Just make it go away. It's I don't know. People reference this a lot, you know? You're not going to tell me they're not making money off this. I can't. It drives me crazy. CoinMarketCap, on the other hand, probably a lot better. 88 Metals Mania said JJC, our app idea might make it, man. Yeah, it might. Remember to eat sardines for omega-3's health benefits. I'm always scared that my BO is going to stink like fish if I ever take any kind of supplements like that. It's like a genuine fear of mine. Okay, we're at 10 right now. Let's get a little zoom in right here. Past 30 days, it's the lowest we've been. Past year, what is that? Okay, so that's a Bitcoin price in the back. Bitcoin volume. Yeah, this is crazy. So that's the worst off we've been of all time. They just started measuring this in 2023. It's been 3 years. 3 years of data. That's the lowest we've been. That's pretty crazy. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced. All right. Key economic events this week from Cointelegraph. Monday, December retail sales data. Wednesday, January jobs report. Thursday, initial jobless claims data. January existing home sales data. And Friday, January CPI inflation data. Plus 5 Fed speaker events throughout the week. More government shutdown data incoming. Which event will have the biggest impact on crypto markets? Probably none of them. Crypto Spaces. Oh, hold on. 88 Metals Mania said the fish BO is like a 2 on the fear meter for JJ. It's a genuine fear. It's a real fear. Fear is the lowest it's been in all time since 2023, and we have another year of this according to most. See, it's the according to most that gets me. Like, I understand, and we talked about this the other day too. Here's what kills me. This is what kills me the most out of all of this that's going on. People insisted this whole time that Bitcoin was going to do what it did in 2021. Right here, they said up, double top 2021. Right here, up, double top 2021. Right here, up, double top 2021. We got down here, they were like, oh my gosh, it's that thing. They did the same thing right here. Oh my gosh, it's that thing. And they did the same thing right here. Oh my gosh, it's that thing. Eventually, they were going to be right. So far, they're right about this one. But they cried every single time. Double top 2021, double top 2021, double top 2021. Every single time. They said that that's what was going to happen. So I'm not putting too much stock in what they think. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're wrong either, because that's equally as silly as blindly believing them. So we're going to continue to observe and plan accordingly. As boring as that sounds, that's the way that it's got to be. As of right now, we're waiting to see what the market does. We're waiting for Warsh in May, June, and to see if the Fed does any emergency rate cuts because of jobs numbers, and to see in March, if we get another bullish expansion print on the ISM PMI. I don't know. I won't even question it. I mean, I'm not gonna act surprised if it does happen for a year, but I am going to plan accordingly as if it's not going to happen, because that quote that I read yesterday was a really good quote. I'm gonna go find it again because it was such a good quote. It's from the guy that I said looks like Walton Goggins, who really doesn't look like Walton Goggins at all. But if you look at him in the right light, he looks a little bit like Walton Goggins. Right, I'm getting close. Right here, pretty soon. Right here, bam. This is a brilliant quote right here. And this is what I think most people are making mistakes. This is from Peter Lynch. Far more money has been lost by investors preparing for corrections or trying to anticipate corrections than has been lost in corrections themselves. So basically, people trying to time the market get wrecked. That's what I got out of that. Like, how many people, Michael Burry, I think 2 years ago, told everyone to sell. He insisted that the stock market was topped out. And it's gone up. It's broken all-time highs multiple times since then. So the one-trick pony strikes again. There's so many people that were like, they're very famous bears for calling tops in the past. They come out and then they're like, it's topped out. It's time to sell. Market's going down. And then it just goes up more. And they look like idiots. But they continuously say that. And then eventually they nail one. And they go, see? I told you. And they actually look like idiots 99% of the time. But that 1%, that hit, That hit does it for him, you know? NASCAR All Out said, it's pretty interesting to look at the log scale of the Dow over the past 100 years. You can really see the trends of secular bull bear markets. My prediction is Bitcoin 32K by end of 2026. That's a very good quote because even secular bear markets, it just chops around sideways for a decade. Thanks, Crypto Spaces. Crypto Spaces said NASCAR All Out. Yeah, most expect 35K to 50K bottom. Oak Tree said check Tunk chart JJ. Let's go take a look at Tunk. If you guys are not aware, Tunk is a coin on, is it bonded? Maybe I might have to go to Snack Fun. On Cardano. Can I go here? Oh, I can. Very nice. Get out of here, Snack Fun. All right. Tunk, we have 21K in liquidity. 21K ADA specifically. Let's actually switch to USD. Okay, $5,770 in liquidity, $8,120 fully diluted value, 68 holders. Market cap, I don't know what this has to do with anything. What the hell does update mean? It's annoying. It is not bonded yet, from what I understand. It's 44% to bonded. Can we get a... Am I allowed to add indicators here? I am. Here we go. All right, RSI was oversold for a hot second. You got some bullish div, which is good. Obviously, again, though, it's a meme coin, so take that with a grain of salt. I think that's pretty much all I can really cover on it. Daily, very sideways. Holding its own, looks better than most alts, for being completely honest. Yeah. Is there bull div here? I think this might be the right kind of bull div. Hang on. Very faint bull div. Look at that. Beautiful. You got longer term bullish divergence on the daily time frame. Very nice. And that is the bullish divergence that signals a continued uptrend on the price and a continued downtrend on the RSI. Those are the ones that you want to look for. Okay. We talked about the pretty, very nice quote from the gentleman. NASCAR All Out. Absolutely, Oak Tree. 88 Metals Mania said, sounds like silver chopping around for decades. Dude, I had silver at like 23 bucks, and I feel like I kind of fumbled it a little bit because I could have loaded up. You know, I was like paying attention to it a year and a half ago. Not that I would have made a crap ton of money anyways, but still. I like to think that I put the money into assets that perform better just to help myself mentally. Really easy to just cope. Cointelegraph update: the 620,000 Bitcoin BitThumb miscredit incident has been resolved. 99.7% was recovered, and the remaining 1,788 Bitcoin was covered using company reserves, restoring 100% backing. So someone out there, or at least several people out there, got free Bitcoin. Like 1,788 Bitcoin are just missing. That's freaking crazy. So there's somebody out there that just got a shit ton of free Bitcoin. I mean, I would do that, man. I would disappear with the Bitcoin. Sorry. You accidentally send me Bitcoin. It's my Bitcoin now. That's how Bitcoin works. Vitalik Buterin says DeFi isn't USDC yield or just put USDC into Aave gadgets. Algorithmic stables can qualify if they reduce counterparty risk or are over collateralized or diversified. So we got a guy here advocating for algorithmic stablecoins. I don't think that we should talk about algorithmic stablecoins ever again. I think that should be illegal. I think algorithmic stablecoins should be illegal, and anybody that talks about them should be like disbarred. Get him out of here. We've done it several times. They suck every single time. Algorithmic stablecoins are a mistake. Stop. Just stop doing it. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Vitalik, get out of here with your algorithmic stablecoin. It's ridiculous. Latest, Google searches for crypto are hovering near a one-year low, signaling fading retail interest as market sentiment stays weak. There is no market sentiment. Oak Tree send USDCX on Cardano. Yeah, I'm excited for our great value brand USDC on Cardano. We don't even get the we didn't even get the actual stablecoin. We even when we pay for it, we don't get it. We still get the off brand. Oh man, I just dropped the lid for my freaking water. Ugh. Okay. 88 Metals Mania said I pucker up when I hear them words. I think everybody does, or at least the sane people do. Okay. The Google search thing kind of cracks me up because I remember during, I think it was last year, people were like, all-time high on search results for altcoins, and I'm like, really? And I checked, and sure enough, it was all-time high, but there was no money coming in. So I don't know if people were just like, oh, let me go look. Okay, that's cool. And they were just looking at them on the internet. I don't know. It didn't have any effect on price, though, that's for sure. That is for sure. Circle minted 250 million USDC on Solana. Very cool. Adam Back posted Bitcoin decentralization is for resisting enemies of freedom. I love the convoluted sentences that kind of don't really make that much sense. Just in, Strategy bought 1,142 Bitcoin worth $90 million. They hold 714,644 Bitcoin. Honestly, I don't know if they're ever going to stop, but I feel like 1 million would be a fair number. He's 75% of the way there. Actually, he's 71.4% of the way there. CanGo Inc. sold 4,451 Bitcoin at 305 million to strengthen its balance sheet. I don't know what CanGo is, but that's cool. Maybe a mining company. Bitmine added 40,613 ETH over the past week. The firm now holds 4.326 million Ethereum with 2.9 million ETH staked. Wait a minute. He doesn't even have all of it staked? That's crazy. You know what really spooks me about this is Vitalik didn't even stake his ETH. He staked like 1% of his Ethereum holdings. Specifically said it was for security concerns. Basically saying it's not 100% safe to stake your ETH. That scares me a little bit. I wonder if he's changed his stance on it. CME Group has launched futures and micro futures for Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar. Yay! Let's go check on the price of Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar. We've got newly introduced futures and micro futures for Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar, celebrating with a 0.63% fall in price. Cardano is currently trading at 0.2681. Stellar, celebrating with a 0.06% downfall, currently trading at 0.1595. And Chainlink, celebrating with a 0.57% decline, currently trading at $8.77. Congratulations, Cardano, Stellar, and Chainlink. Bitcoin down 0.43%, 69, nice, $1,843.99. About to liquidate some bulls. That's definitely in the cards. Okay, Insight. Tron leads Hyperliquid in daily fees, posting 1.1 million over the past 24 hours. That's crazy. I still have yet to meet a person who uses Tron for anything. I remember having conversations very early on. People were like, "Oh, I transfer my money from place to place with Stellar," or XRP was a big one. ETH, people used ETH. Some people just used USDT for some reason and paid ridiculous fees. Some people use Bitcoin. Never in my life, because that's the big argument. Everyone's always like, "Oh, people like to use Tron to transfer money around." They say people, they don't say I, which means they don't do it. I've never met somebody that goes, "I use Tron for literally anything." Never. Idiot Metals Mania said I use it for USDT on Tron for years. That blows my mind. What do you do, just to move the money? How did they have a market cap? Did you tell me there's that many people moving money around? It's like Grand Central Station is just constantly filled with Tether. I don't buy it. I really don't. And they're always number one, and like nobody talks about them, but they're always number one in every metric. It's just weird to me, man. It's just weird. Aave founder Stani Kulachov. Cautions. Oh, cautions. God, I can't read, man. cautions the Bank of England's proposed 20,000 euro stablecoin cap. I can't read this European crap. 20,000 European stablecoin cap, warning it could hurt UK competitiveness. I wonder why. SBF alleges Biden lawfare suppressed key defenses in his trial and draws parallels to high-profile cases, including Donald Trump. Yeah, this dude cracks me up. This dude cracks me up. I hope he's having fun with Diddy in there, and R. Kelly, and whoever else is in there. I store my stable. Oh, you store it there. Interesting. Why? May I ask why? Mr. Beast buys youth-focused fintech firm Step, which serves 7 million plus users through Beast Industries. Very cool. Congratulations, Mr. Beast. Update: Google parent Alphabet launches a global bond push, including a rare 100-year bond to finance up to $185 billion in AI expansion. Now, what the hell on earth is anyone going to do with a 100-year bond? Crypto Spaces said you have balls to trust your stables on Tron. That's kind of how I feel, man. Wouldn't you? I would just go to ETH, man. Go to ETH. ETH is safe. Why not? Better than anywhere else. Low swaps in and out. No downtime. I'm pretty sure Justin Sun owns like 99% of it. Allegedly. Not financial advice. Okay. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says crypto and tokenization can level the playing field for wealth creation globally. See, now when you say things like that, Brian, the rich folk don't like that. The rich folk don't like that at all. They don't like that very much at all. So the rich folk probably going to make you shut up. I would be careful. I would be very, very careful. Sergey Nazarov said, if these trends continue, I believe what I have been saying for years will happen. On-chain real-world assets will suppress cryptocurrency, and the total value in our industry and what our industry is about will fundamentally change. I agree with him, and I think he knows why he said that. I think he said that because of what we were talking about the other day. Chainlink is used by everyone for everything in crypto, but you don't need to buy the coin to use it. So there's zero value proposition for Chainlink. They have a great business. They help everybody out there, but there's no incentivization to purchase the coin. So the Chainlink guy is the best guy to know this, because he's like, oh, people don't buy my coin because you don't need to buy my fucking coin to use the product that my ecosystem offers. 88 Metals Mania said, I think his mom actually owns most of it. LOL. Oh, that's the same thing. 88 Metals Mania said, ETH slow, expensive, laggy when this gets ripping. Crypto Spaces said, ETH not expensive anymore. I literally traded on it today, less than $1, or you can just use base chain. 88 Metals Mania said, I don't think any of these tokens do anything. So I feel like the ecosystems do. If you actually use the DeFi ecosystem and stuff, Chainlink does not have a DeFi ecosystem at all. Avalanche is the layer 1. I don't know for sure. I think maybe Stellar is. Arrow is a DEX token. I don't know if that does anything either. Ondo is another great example. They tokenize like 1 million assets on Solana and other chains, but again, you don't need to buy Ondo to use it. XRP has an ecosystem. What else? Cardano has an ecosystem. Solana has an ecosystem. Solana is the best example because they exploded because of their ecosystem. Ethereum was the original example, but they were slow and clunky and expensive. Now they're not, but people don't care anymore. They've already all moved to Solana or Sui or wherever the hell else. The problem is, and we talked about this before too, and this is, again, this is a big concern for me as far as alts are concerned. If I'm a bank or Rocket Money or Intuit or ADP, and I want to like allow payroll through whatever or anything like that, offer yield. Why the hell would I trust some third party anything? Why wouldn't I just develop my own? It's really, really easy and quite fast to do that. And then there's no liability, there's no third party concerns of hacking or anything like that. I take on all the risk. It's probably way cheaper to insure, and I pretty much eliminate all possible competition that way as well. I think the biggest downfall to cryptocurrency and what might eventually be our Achilles heel is that we allowed institutions to gain adoption without really incentivizing them to use any of the existing infrastructure. And I think that that's eventually going to be our biggest issue when it comes to money. 88 Metals Mania said, oh, wait till the market has some volume. That's actually totally fair. Exchange tokens, I get it. Crypto Spaces said, well, I'm just giving my opinion. You, the Chad who had metals for decades, do your thing. Yeah, I don't think you'll ever change somebody else's mind. He's safe in Tron. He's done it for forever, so. Do you think most hold the tokens and do not use the dApps and platforms? I would assume so. Otherwise, we would see all of those platforms at higher valuations as well. Crypto Spaces said, I think most don't use dApp or platforms. I agree. And I think it's a big safety thing because in order to do that, you usually have to bridge or use, again, some third party. And there's been way too many hacks. There's too many bad actors. We got to weed out all the bad actors, which unfortunately, I don't know if we'll ever do. I don't know, man. It's a big mess. That's why we got to diversify. That's why we're also doing stocks. That's why we're also doing precious metals. I'm probably going to start my own business. You know, you got to just diversify your income. We cannot rely solely on cryptocurrency, especially after this last cycle. If that was the cycle, then crypto sucks. Obviously, time will tell, but for now, so far, it probably sucks. XRP holders never use the XRPL. They just buy XRP and that's it. 88 Metals Mania said it's like the tokens are looking for a problem to solve. Yeah. 88 Metals Mania said most Ripple is minted on ETH. And how bad XRP is, LOL. Yeah. XRP's thing, too. So they've nailed the marketing. I think that that's where they've succeeded, is the marketing and the boots on the ground. I don't know what happened, but they hit something right, and they did it, and they did the long game. They got wrecked by the SEC, and they came out of that on top as well. And they came out on top for market cap because of that as well. Problem is, again, they offer all of these great incentivizations. People are lying through their teeth as far as how high market cap can go and how high price can go. That helps them a lot with the price. But you don't need to buy XRP to use their products, to use Ripple's products, which is, again, the big issue. Everyone, like, I genuinely, I want somebody to come to me and tell me why Chainlink is so great, why Ripple is so great, why all this. And then when they tell me all that, I'll let them go through for like an hour. And then I'm going to ask them, do you have to own the token to use that? And then they would be like, well, no, but, and that would be my entire reply. And I feel bad, but that's true. It's real. That's the reality. Crypto Spaces said, it didn't suck for me in 2024. I did great. I just didn't stable my profits better. The first cycle mistakes, thinking you're a genius. So my issue is, it didn't suck for me in 23, 24 either. I did great back then as well. I've mentioned a couple of times, coming out of the bear market was the most money I've made in my entire life. Problem is, I could have made more. And the bull market was basically inconsequential. We had no bull market. Bitcoin did great. Like 3 or 4 altcoins did great. Everything else just sucked ass. It went up like maybe like 3x, which is awesome. But it's not as awesome as a typical crypto bull run. I don't know where the money went. It definitely didn't come back to crypto though. Okay. TechDev posted, do you know the last time weekly Bitcoin dominance was this compressed? November 2016. Historic volatility imminent for alts against Bitcoin. Dominance currently below basis. I hope all these people are right, man. I really do. Stock Money Lizards posted, I've used this chart to decide where to start buying Bitcoin since 2020. It hasn't failed me since. Not financial advice. What is that? This is the weekly. I don't know what line that is. Maybe the 100 week. I don't know. But he's going to start buying Bitcoin apparently. And it's not financial advice. When to buy Bitcoin? 2012 crash, 10 extreme fear. Mt. Gox crash, 9 extreme fear. 2017-2018 crash, 11 extreme fear. The pandemic crash, 9 extreme fear. FTX crash, 12 extreme fear. And 2026 crash, 5 extreme fear. Bitcoin, $59,948.39. Pretty crazy. It goes down fast, man. It goes down fast. It goes up fast too, though. That's the fun part. 88 Metals Mania said, I think the SEC was keeping the price up and higher for the speculation. Once SEC dropped it, the excitement was over. Looks like my golf simulator graph. President Trump, next Fed chair pick, Kevin Warsh, he said, and he says it in this video, if you guys want to watch it again, it's Bitcoin Magazine 4 hours ago. He said, if you're under 40, Bitcoin is your new gold. Very cool. Which means we're probably going to have to hold it for forever in order for it to go up. Because that's what happened with gold. Vivek Sen posted, Bitcoin is about to go parabolic soon. Tighten your seatbelts. Hell yeah. Hopefully he's right. We have a ascending triangle. Big short investor Michael Burry says Bitcoin will crash to 50K. That's actually not that bad. Let's take it down to 50K. We've already hit 60. I'll take 50. Michael Burry, finally, some modesty. Good for him. He'll be right eventually. In 2011, someone bought 10,000 Bitcoin for $7,805 at 78 cents each, and 14 years later, sold it for $1.09 billion at 109,246. That is a 140,000x return on investment. What a freaking legend. Then we got this funny. That uncle you convinced to buy Bitcoin at 126K? Dude, this dude runs way too fast and it freaks me out. That's such a good clip, though. Let's see. I think the SEC. Yep. Crypto Spaces said, it's funny, the 2026 crash is the lowest number in extreme fear, and there's not a real reason other than 4-year cycles. Haha, I really think it's leverage. I really do. 88 Metals Mania said, ouch, that was us old folks. Ouch, what about us old folks? Where? Oh. You guys have gold. You guys have actual gold, which went up more than it outperformed Bitcoin. Congratulations. Lunar Entity said, now hold on, JJ. Gold was in a bottom phase for so long because uncertainty bottomed after 1985. 9/11 signaled a new move up for gold. 1987 to 2000 was one of the most stable periods in history. We're about to do it again. Oh, I'm so scared. I don't want to hold on to this shit for 10 years. I've already been in it for 5. I hate it. Cheers, guys. Happy Monday. This guy's got a name. Sanawaz posted. Am I allowed to do that? Big.50. We'll call him Big.50. Big.50 posted. Buy altcoins now. They will 50 to 100x on average. Be ready. I'm gonna start posting this shit every day. People post this stuff every single day. Like, altcoins are gonna move tomorrow. I don't know what they're gonna do when altcoins actually move. Do they go back and delete all the wrong ones? Because they post this and then if you confront them, you're like, well, you said altcoins are gonna move tomorrow. Well, the date got pushed back because of the lunar cycles and the president and Kevin Warsh and the ISM. Do they just move the goalposts? What do they do? Crypto Gems said a huge reversal could be next for altcoins. See, this guy said could be. He didn't say it's going to be. I like the plausible deniability. Notice whenever I say anything in my title or in my description, I put questions instead of answers. Because I don't know if any of it's ever going to be true. But I still got to get you guys to click on the video. Crypto Spaces said, this is what happens when you don't do the right thing. You have to live without with the consequences. Yeah. Lunar Entity said, the people that stare at Bitcoin dominance every day have melted their brains. Oh, yeah. Those accounts just engagement farming. I don't even know how they get engaged. I mean, I guess my dumbass is bookmarking them and talking about them. So yeah, I guess I get it. We got to talk about something though. We go from like the actual like good news to like the nonsense bullshit at the back of the magazine. You know what I mean? Bar chart posted hedge funds shorted stocks last week at the fastest pace in history. That's crazy, crazy stuff. Just in Japan's 2-year yield spike to highest level in 30 years. Hell yeah. 88 Metals Mania said every post lately could be the last shakeout, right? That's what's driving me crazy too. Everyone's like, this is the last drop, you know. And now I'm at the point now where I'm like, well, this is not going to be the last one. They're going to do this, and then they're going to go this, and they're going to keep going lower. And then eventually, we're probably going to do one more, and then we're going to go up. And it's going to go up really, really fast so nobody catches it. And we're all going to be like, whoa, I was not expecting that. Because we've been so conditioned for just perpetual downside. Like, it's genuinely hard to fathom the price increasing at this point. And that's what they want, you know? That's what the market makers want. I almost got to go tinfoil at this point. It's just silly. It's a silly time in the markets, man. It is a silly time. US dollar timber. I want to go look at the DXY again. This makes me happy in the worst way possible. Gosh, this thing's dying. 96,808. Let's see if it gets, I don't know, what is the breaking point for this to actually start, alts to start giving a shit? Probably nothing, because there's 84 other things that are, you know, going against the entire market. All right. Kathy Wood's ARK Invest is now down 38% over the last 5 years. Meanwhile, NASDAQ QQQ has doubled over the same period. Wow. Lunar Entity said, so what is your bottom area for the bleed? My guess is 48K. I mean, I was looking at 70 and then 65, but we went below that like the day after I said that, so. You said 48K? DXY is going down. Bitcoin can't catch a bid, right? What is my bottom? I guess that's a good question. Let me finish the news segment and then we'll actually try and figure that out. Breaking Hims and Hers Health. Timber. What happened to all the X accounts that were promoting this? This cracks me up because I didn't see any of them, man. I did not see any of them. Energy stocks going for their 8th consecutive green week, which would match the strongest winning streak in almost 2 years. Wow. Last but not least, Chinese holdings of U.S. Treasuries plunged to the lowest level since the global financial crisis. That's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Portfolio. I'm not going to do a portfolio update. It's going to be the same as yesterday. We've been super duper sideways. So just go watch yesterday's portfolio update. Crypto Spaces said, it's real bad. I should have been booing Coinbase for the Super Bowl ad as well. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl. I boycotted the entire Super Bowl because of Coinbase. I'm joking. I think we're getting existential here, guys. We gotta, everybody ready? We're gonna do a breathing exercise while we also talk about Kalshi. We're gonna do a breathing exercise. Ready? Breathe in, hold it, then breathe out. One more time. And breathe out. Okay. Find your center. Find your center. So sorry. This is serious. Find your center. It's going to be okay. Number go up. Eventually. Number always go up. Brian Armstrong is going to save us. Donald Trump is going to pump our bags. Kevin Warsh is going to be dovish. Money printer go burr. Okay. Namaste, everyone. All right. For real, though. We're getting existential. Bitcoin might go down a little bit further. It might go down a lot further. We don't know. Kind of cultish now. That's kind of what I was going for. I'm glad you guys got that vibe. So we might go down further. If we do, it's not the end of the world. We can zoom way out. Let me just show you guys the prevailing trend for the Bitcoins. The prevailing Bitcoin's trend is up, evidently. Now, it is pretty harsh. We've seen this guy. We've seen this guy. We've seen this guy. The trajectory changes every single time. Are we going to go below that? Possibly. I feel like that's entirely possible. Maybe we come down. Hang on. Let me try to do something here. Okay. Then this guy going up. Yep. What's the next trajectory here? Is that going to be it? That seems plausible. If we maybe candle body right there, that seems plausible-ish. I don't see why that can't be it. But let's just take into consideration maybe the possibility that that's not going to be it. I don't know what that's for. What if we come down here to 50K? Is that really going to be that big of a deal? Alts have been holding up really, really well, all things considered. You know, we watched Bitcoin dump this much this past, like, couple weeks. Altcoins really didn't give a crap last week. Altcoins did not give a crap last week. They just kind of sat, and they were like, oh, Bitcoin's going down again. Like, watching your grandpa fall for the 18th time, you know? 27%, that is a pretty hefty drop. It is a pretty hefty drop. But let's go back to our beautiful quote from Mr. Peter Lynch. Far more money has been lost by investors preparing for corrections or trying to anticipate corrections than has been lost in corrections themselves. Eventually, the dollar price, the dollar value of Bitcoin increases over time, which helps us. So we can hold through this. If you feel like you're overexposed and like you can't sit through another downtrend, maybe take a little bit off the top. I've talked about it before. When the market gets really crappy and I hate it and I'm really pissed off and I really don't want to do it anymore, I take a little bit off the table, even if it's just $100. Take a little bit off the table. Maybe I pay for groceries that day. Maybe I pay a bill that day. Maybe I take the family out to dinner that day. Go to the movies that weekend, whatever. Just go to Barnes & Noble and buy some books that I'm never going to read. Whatever. It's a really easy cope because I feel like I got something out of it. Even if my bags are red, if I'm down 50% and I take a little bit of money out and I go spend it on myself, I feel so much better after that. You feel like you got something out of it. So I can give you guys coping techniques all day. Obviously, at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions. It's your own money. I am going to sit here and I'm going to continue to invest in cryptocurrency. I'm going to continue to invest in the stock market. I'm going to continue to invest in precious metals. I'm going to continue to invest into this YouTube channel. And maybe I see return on my investment. Maybe I don't. At the end of the day, I'm doing it for the love of the game and hopeful eventual monetary gain. But if you don't enjoy it, then what's the point? If you do not enjoy it, then what is the point? Crypto Spaces said, I'm chilling, not stressed at all. I accept this space is the most challenging pile of poo ever, but hidden in the poo are diamonds. Just have to dig long enough. That is a great analogy. That guy literally digging through piles of shit to find that hard drive cracks me up. He didn't find it. He never ended up finding it. I don't know why you would ever do that to begin with. Like, he could have spent all that time and money just not doing that. You know what I mean? I guess it would have been really cool. Doesn't he have millions of dollars anyways? He's probably just bored, and it would have been a great story if he would have found it. He should have just lied. He should have just dug one up and been like, oh my gosh, I found it. I finally found it after all these years. And then he could have, like, wrote a book about it or something. Lunar Entity said 48K. Has a lot of volume. If you lose the quarterly 21 exponential moving average, volume node suggests you fall straight through to 48K. Right now, I'm not concerned unless tech rolls over. Bitcoin had an immense reaction off the quarterly 21 exponential moving average. It did not do that in 2021, but it did in 2018 and again in 2020. I'm waiting to see if it can backtest the 21 simple moving average on the quarterly. Excuse me. On the quarterly. That will signal to me that price is preparing to hit deeper targets. Money flow on Ethereum is showing massive divergence, lower average money flow than the bear market low at 879. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, there's definitely a weird situation right now with liquidity. That's for sure. Liquidity and leverage. Liquidity and leverage are the two big situations right now to keep an eye on. All right, let's go put that on the chart, actually. I want to put that on the chart. Lunar entity said 48K. I'm going to put lunar entities guess. Nope, I'm going to put bear market bottom. Target guess. And it said 48K. 48. Gosh, I hate that that's even in the equation. We're at 69 right now. That would be sick. Under 1K ETH would be diabolical. I feel like it's not that crazy though, too. Gosh, my charts are so messy. I can't zoom out on my charts, dude. I can't. I gotta get it. I might have to pay for frickin' TradingView, and we might have to get clean charts on this bitch. This is out of control, man. Here we go. Okay. Is ETH, here's another great question. Is ETH going to below 1K? 2020, okay. This thing went down to 8 something. Yep. Crazy, man. See, the fact that we're almost back at our bear market bottoms is blowing my mind right now, man. Like, this is a beautiful trend line, and we've broken below it twice. 1, 2. Like, are we going to recover? This is unprecedented. Not that the markets aren't really that old anyways, so to build like some... Look at the volume, dude. Look at the volume, is just gone. This is specific to Bitstamp, but still. What a crazy observation. So here's the ultimate question. Is ETH gonna go down? Holy shit, that goes down to 0. What am I doing, man? What am I doing here? I wouldn't be surprised though. Lunar entity said we are hitting lower targets in money flow than the previous bear market. That's actually a healthy sign. Doesn't seem that healthy to me. What are you smoking? Can I get some? I'm gonna call. Yeah, see, no, we bounced off that. That looks nice. I got no idea, man. I got no idea. There's no trend line that I can really point out where I'm like, oh, this looks relatively reasonable. Because none of it looks reasonable at all. This all looks horrible. Let's go wick to wick. Let's do that. Is ETH... See, that's not even that much farther down, though. ETH going to 1K, 1,500? Big whoop. It bounced off 1,750. Most spot volume has migrated to CME and perpetuals. Lower money flow implies more people actually holding the asset than trading derivatives. Crypto Spaces said, I agree, Lunar. People aren't buying spot anymore, just perps, LOL. All right. I got nothing, man. The ETH chart's really confusing. Like, Bitcoin actually looks like it went up. ETH looks like shit. This looks like crap to me. I don't know. Tom Lee's got bigger balls than I do. That's for damn sure. And he's doing it with other people's money, too. That's scary. Spooky. Spooky Tom Lee. There's no chart pattern here where I'm like, oh, yeah, this looks good. I'm going to ask Grok some stupid shit. Do you think crypto... Actually, let me just ask when. When do you think cryptocurrency like Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink, Avalanche, Cardano, and other altcoins, and I guess Bitcoin as well, will hit new all-time highs next? It seems like it's actually dying this time. Let's see what Grok says. Crypto Spaces, yep, I read that. 88 Metals Mania said, LOL, Lunar Entity said, if you ever feel bad about Ethereum's chart, boot up ICP. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. Ask it, is Tom Lee an alien? ICP? Dude, ICP cracks me up. And there's people that still try to argue for it. They're like, oh, that was because of this or that. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, there's people still fighting for it. There's people that I respect on YouTube that are like, ICP is a good investment. I'm like, no. How could you say such a thing? I don't know. Look at the RSI is not even on the weekly. On the weekly for ETH, the RSI is not even oversold. What the hell? What is this planet that we're on? It's crazy. All right. Cryptocurrency markets are highly cyclical and volatile, with deep corrections often feeling like the end. Bitcoin alone has declared dead hundreds of times since 2009, yet it has repeatedly recovered to new highs. The current downturn in early 2026 doesn't signal that crypto is dying. It's more consistent with a post-bull consolidation or early bear phase after the 2024-2025 run-up. I didn't ask about Bitcoin, bro. Current market snapshot. I don't need a snapshot. I know everything looks like shit. Overall, crypto market cap down 0.27 in the last 24 hours. I swear to God, dude, if I ever met Grog, I feel like I would be such a bully. He's just trying to answer the stupid question, you know? Oh, man. All right. Altcoins are generally underperforming Bitcoin right now. Altcoin season index low around 30, with capital favoring Bitcoin's relative safety. Why it's not dying. Despite headlines about crashes or existential crisis, fundamentals point to maturation rather than death. Institutional integration deepens. ETFs, clearer U.S. regulation, expected via X like Clarity. Adoption in payments, infrastructure, and global commerce grows. I will say, Clarity Act is going to be hopefully a big pivot point. If Clarity Act passes and nothing happens in the charts, then we're probably doomed. I'm not going to lie. Bearish voices exist, fears of deeper crashes or fund closures, but resilience is the historical norm. Interesting. When might new all-time highs happen? No one can predict exact timing. Markets are influenced by macroeconomics, policy, sentiment, and unexpected events. That said, here's a range of current analyst reviews. Traditional halving cycle view, the 2024 halving cycle or halving fueled the 2025 bull. Many expected peak late 2025 with 2026 as correction bear. Next major run could come post 2028 halving. New highs 2028-2029. Some declare the strict 4-year cycle dead due to ETFs changing dynamics. Bullish supercycle or broken cycle view. Institutional flows could drive new highs sooner. Sources like Bitwise predict Bitcoin breaks the cycle with new all-time highs in 2026. Others see rebound potential for Solana and alts if catalysts hit. Rate cuts, pro-crypto policy, rotation from Bitcoin. My assessment, crypto isn't dying. It's in a painful but normal post-peak drawdown, similar to 2018-19 or 2022. Bitcoin will likely lead any recovery to new highs first, possibly late 2026 if sentiment shifts positively. Regulatory clarity, economic upturn. Altcoins like ETH, Sol, Link, Avalanche, and ADA tend to lag in bears but explode in alt seasons. Once Bitcoin stabilizes, could be 2027 or later this cycle. Long-term, 3 to 5 years, odds favor new highs across the board due to growing adoption, but shorter-term pain is possible if macro conditions worsen. This is not been okay. Let me ask this then. How can you predict new all-time highs for those coins when most of them were unable to make new all-time highs this past cycle when the traditional 4-year cycle normally would have allowed that to happen? Let's see what Grok says about that. All right, Let's go back to Bitcoin, down 0.85% on the day. Go back down to the 4-hour. My really, really messy chart. I really want to just purge the charts, man. But these lines come into play. I don't know. Am I a chart hoarder? I think I'm a chart hoarder. I hoard lines on my charts. Any time frame on Clarity Act? I don't know. They're talking tomorrow, allegedly. They're talking about freaking March now. But tomorrow they're meeting, so... kind of like Filecoin. Lunar Entity said, get your tinfoil hat. JJ Banks nuked the Clarity Act to force a bear market. Is that tinfoil hat? Why would they force a bear market, though? So that they could accumulate? I thought they already freaking did that. Charts looked like shit this whole time. Crypto Spaces, any time frame on Clarity Act. Time frame, good luck. Grok saying what Ben Cowan thinks, 2028 alt season. See, what kills me is Grok just started saying that. Because I've been consulting Grok every day, just for shits and giggles. And every single day, it's like, crypto's not dead. I think later this year, everything's going to be great. And I have all the saved conversations. I will pull that shit up. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're looking at 2028. So, I'm about to rip Grok a new one. When the Terminator uprising happens and Grok shows up at my front door, I'm going to whoop his ass. I'm going to whoop his ass. Holy crap, that sucks, but it's okay. You have to live with the consequences of your actions. Lunar Entity said alt season will happen when VCs have lowered borrowing rates. Also, I was right a few months ago when I said most VCs exited in 21-22. They haven't touched crypto in 4 years. Oh yeah, you could tell that just by the volume, the lack of everything, the lack of fun. What sucks too, I feel like the space got tainted during the pandemic. And we should have had like a nice, slow, gradual growth rate, and we would have all been like cool cypherpunk investors and whatever. And then we got this huge run, and we all got spoiled from that like sugar rush, and now we're crashing. We're crashing from the sugar rush, and everyone's all bummed out. None of us feel good. We gotta go to like rehab. And then we got to come back and we got to like, and it's going to take years for the market to recover. That's what it feels like. All right. You're right to point this out. It's fair and important critique. The 2024-2025 cycle did see Bitcoin reach a significant new all-time high, but the vast majority of altcoins failed to surpass the 2021 peaks, and many ended the year deep in the red or barely positive. This made the bull run feel disproportionately Bitcoin only, with weak or non-existent broad alt season, leading some to call it the worst bull market ever for altcoins. There was no bull market for altcoins. Why many of them sucked ass in 2025? Several factors contributed. Institutional and ETF-driven flows, shorter, weaker alt rallies. That is not a reason. That's not a reason. That's the result. Any alt performance unraveled quickly, with median small cap surges lasting just weeks instead of months. Macro headwinds, tighter monetary policy, and risk-off sentiment suppressed speculative bets on alts more than Bitcoin. Market maturation. More money chased safe Bitcoin exposure rather than high-risk alts. So you're saying all fun investments are dead forever. That doesn't mean crypto is dying. Bitcoin still followed a halving-inspired appreciation pattern, but it highlights that altcoin cycles are less predictable and increasingly decoupled from Bitcoins. Is the traditional 4-year cycle broken? Opinions are split. Many analysts argue yes, or at least evolving. Institutional adoption, ETFs, and global liquidity have disrupted the strict post-halving boom-bust pattern seen in prior cycles. Others say no. The halving still reduces supply and drove Bitcoin's 2025 gains, but the peak may have extended, or the structure changed to something less volatile, more sustained. Bitwise and others explicitly predict Bitcoin breaks this cycle with new highs in 2026 rather than a deep bear. This cycle isn't a law of physics. It is a historical pattern influenced by changing market participants, how predictions for new all-time highs are formed. I don't give a shit. For altcoins you mentioned, new all-time highs are possible but likely delayed compared to Bitcoin, potentially late 2026 if cycle extends. See, now it's just forming a bias based on what I've said. I feel like AI is trash, man. I swear. So, why wouldn't a Bitcoin miner just pivot their hardware to AI when the price drops enough? Doesn't that kind of put Bitcoin at risk, since the incentive is basically removed when price goes down too much? They're going to talk about, oh, the hash rate's going to change. I I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm getting existential now. All right. Far more money has been lost by investors preparing for corrections or trying to anticipate corrections than has been lost in corrections themselves. I'm not selling my bags. I refuse to sell my bags, but I will diversify. Let's see. Crypto Spaces said I've seen charts showing a little bit of VC's returns compared to last cycle. They got 50 to 70 X's last cycle. This cycle, less than 5X. Most VCs had ICOs as early as 2010, 2011. They were in the space before most of us. Crypto Spaces said this is why meme coins had a boom, because it was free of VCs and gave the little guys a chance to make it. I see. Oh man, I don't know how many little guys actually made it. I feel like meme coins were just pure liquidity extraction. Lunar Entity said, ask Grok to dump memory. Tell him he's hallucinating. Why miners simply can't repurpose Bitcoin mining hardware for AI? Fuck off. Does it put Bitcoin at risk when incentive drops? Low prices do stress the network. Attacks remain extremely expensive, risky. This incentive isn't removed. It's cyclical. I'm not gonna. There's no incentive to invest in altcoins. Change my mind. Let's just make it short and sweet. Give me some copium. All right, Bitcoin $69,476.19. Gold and silver unraveling very, very little bit. Not too crazy. See what the S&P and NASDAQ looks like tomorrow. Not MicroStrategy. Dominance 59.2. You're right. Altcoins have felt like raw deal lately, especially after the 2025 cycle where Bitcoin hit. Why do you have to explain to me what I just said? It's easy to see zero incentive when capital has relentlessly favored Bitcoin via ETFs and institutional flows, but there are legitimate incentives to reallocate to select altcoins if you're risk tolerant, patient, and selective. Here's why the no incentive view might be missing the bigger picture. Asymmetric upside, higher beta to Bitcoin. Altcoins historically deliver explosive returns. There are no rotation phases. The altcoin season index, blah, 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 has hit those levels multiple times, leading to massive gains. Even if the strict 4-year cycle is evolving, rotations happen. Some analysts, Raoul Paul, point to potential alt momentum in 2026 if Bitcoin consolidates and liquidity improves. Unique use cases and narratives beyond digital coins: Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, DeFi, NFTs, gaming, high throughput apps, real TVL, and user growth persist despite price pain. Chainlink oracles for real. Okay, let's ask it about Chainlink then. Chainlink. For Chainlink, you mentioned oracles, but you don't need to buy the coin to utilize their service. What's the value incentive there? So let's see what Grok says about that. Owning Link incentivizes Oracle Network security through staking and fees. Let's see. I want to see. Is there actually an incentive for buying Chainlink? Anything? Crypto Spaces said this is by meme coins. Yep, I read that. Lunar Entity said, ask Grok to dump memory. We are more than likely about to witness consolidation in crypto for the first time. For the first time, get out of here. Hanging in on US 30. Gamma elevated. Smells like something nasty is on the way. You're spot on. You're spot on that. End users or developers don't always need to directly buy and hold Link to access Chainlink's Oracle services. Thanks to features like payment abstraction, integrations allow payments in other tokens or even off-chain fiat, which get converted automatically. However, this doesn't eliminate the token's value incentive. It actually reinforces it through structural demand baked into the network. That doesn't make any sense. You're making shit up now. The value proposition is capturing net worth growth. Get out of here. Well, if you buy it and people use it, then other people will probably buy it. That's basically what Grok is saying. I don't know, man. Grok is turning into a not price action. I mean the market itself. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I think it looks bleak. I think it looks pretty bleak right now, man. We're heading into the summer too. People don't usually give a shit about anything in the summer. Oh man. All right. Let's see. We got our beautiful little quote. We got nothing really going on here. Let's see what ISM print comes in. Obviously next month. Get wrecked, Grok. Yeah, dude, that was a silly answer. Silver and gold. Silver's looking a little weak. Gold looks a little bit stronger than silver. It looks good. Vitalik is signaling a shift by throwing shade at L2s. Institutions are steering the ship with a hand up Vitalik's rear end. Grok is turning into Ben Cowan. Not even Ben Cowan. That's not even a Ben Cowan answer. This is like some weird, like, altcoin copium maxi. Well, there's an incentive because if it's good and people like it, then they'll buy the coin. No, they won't. What are you talking about? If I eat at a restaurant and I enjoy the food, I tip my waiter and I leave, I'm not going to think about it a week later and go, I should go back there and tip the waiter again. What are you talking about? That's crazy. All right, let's see. Yeah, gold looks stronger than silver to me right here. Obviously, gold has a lot more money in it. DXY, this is probably the most exciting thing to me. DXY dropping. I'm still on the fence about Warsh being a possible dove. That sounds like really gay when I say it, but there's really no other way to say it. S&P looking really good. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow might be fun. Tomorrow might be a lot of fun. We're getting news, I'm assuming, probably from their closed door meeting of all the banks and Brian Armstrong circle jerking each other at the White House. That'll be fun. Lunar Entity said the Vitalik L2 thing is wild. He pushed for L2s and defended them for a decade. Now, when institutions are here, he decides to call them out. Yeah, I think he's afraid of them actually stealing market share. And he's selling his ETH as well, which he did last. He always sells his ETH when he thinks there's going to be a bear market or some kind of bear cycle. And it's always when we're like halfway down the ramp. It's pretty crazy. Maybe Solana flips ETH for real. That would be freaking hilarious. That would be so funny. If anything flipped ETH, I would throw a party. I would throw a party if anything flipped ETH. I think that would be the funniest shit in the world. He's not only is he shitting on L2s and selling his Ethereum, but he's also, what was I gonna say? Shit. Oh yeah, he's advocating for algorithmic stablecoins. I don't know. I feel like Vitalik has fallen off the wagon. He's like doing drugs or something now. I used to kind of value his opinion. Now I'm a little hesitant to listen to anything that he has to say. Maybe base token becomes a gas token for base chain. I don't know, man. Then that flips ETH. Honestly, that one probably makes the most sense just because base is so institutionalized and like at the forefront of adoption. All right. Well, we've determined that Grok, at least Grok 4.1, doesn't know what the hell cryptocurrency is or where the market's going. Guys, I'm still hopeful at the end of the day. I don't think the market can go down forever. I don't. And I think offloading my bags here is a horrible idea. Not that I was considering that at all, but I'm just talking out loud. If I am ever feeling standoffish and I don't know, what the market's going to do, whatever, I might diversify my DCA at the end of the week. Maybe I'll just hold on to it for a couple of days past the DCA day. Maybe I'll hold on to it and skip a DCA day. I don't know. But I don't think I can go down forever. I think, obviously, this is some kind of bear trend. And eventually we're going to come out of it. I would love to see Total 2 get back above 1 trillion. That would be ideal. I would also love if the 4-year cycle died and everybody that's like, the 4-year cycle ended up being wrong. That would be really funny. Lunar Entity said, he's like a totally different weirdo, JJ. I want some crappy chain to flip Ethereum just because it would be funny and in character for the space. Oh, that would be hilarious. That would be so funny. Let's just give it to Tron, man. Let's just have Tron flip ETH. I think that would be brilliant. Because then you know Vitalik would just be talking shit about Justin's son. He would be like, Justin's son owns majority of the Tron supply. You know? Oh man, that'd be great. Let's see. What is this for? Is this my estimate for when we're actually going to start to get breakout here? Because so far I've been tremendously wrong on this chart specifically. This also freaks me out. This, you know, we got uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. How far down are we going to go? Are we going to go down to 1 trillion? That would suck. Hopefully not. Total crypto market cap? Ooh, that would be crazy. Right now it's like mostly Bitcoin, isn't it? It's like majority of it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, yeah, 1.3. And then ETH is a quarter. So yeah, this is mostly Bitcoin and ETH right here. The rest of it is garbage. Oh man. Oh, what a great time to be alive. Crypto Spaces said, that does make sense. Tron doesn't go down, much at least. Lunar Entity said, China has done nothing but print money for 6 straight years. They buy Tron. That's great. Oh, that's so funny. That's so true. Tron and BNB are the two like sleepers. No one really ever expected them to do anything, and they've been in the top 10 for forever. And they just kind of exist. Nobody ever talks about them. They just exist. I love that Bitcoin Cash just fucking flipped ADA. That shit's fucking hilarious. I think that this is because of the, I'm not gonna say the name, but the island guy, the island owner guy, that may or may not be deceased. I think that that's why Bitcoin Cash is doing so good right now. I really do. Because everyone's like, oh, the Bitcoin Cash fork. That was the real Bitcoin. So, I don't know. It's kind of funny. Maybe there might be a actual, like, value incentive to buy some Bitcoin Cash. Honestly, between Bitcoin Cash and Doge, that's a 60% pump. So if you think Bitcoin Cash is going to flip Doge, why not? Crypto Spaces said the Ponzi is strong for Tron, created by 2 Asian men, no less. Damn. Alright, fellas. I suppose I'm going to call it. Lunar Entity said Bitcoin Cash is weird, man. Merchants are actually using it on-chain. That's hilarious. I don't mind the Dino coins. I like Bitcoin Cash. I like Litecoin. I like ETH Classic. They just, I don't know, they speak to me. They speak to me, man. It's like nostalgia. It's like crypto nostalgia. Back in the good old days when all you had to do was pick a coin and throw some money into it, and then when the bull market happened, everybody made money. Now you gotta like do research and shit. It's ridiculous. This is bullcrap. That freaked me out when I looked at the metric. A lot of Litecoin traffic went to Bitcoin Cash. Ooh, spicy meatball. All right, fellas, I haven't had dinner yet. It's 11:10. I'm going to call it an evening. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Monday, and good night.